Wildcards are used to search for data within a table, and we would usually use the like operator with the SQL wildcards. And we will talk about both wildcards and the like operator. But before we go into SQL Server to actually see how wildcards are used, I would like to use an analogy to explain what a wildcard is or how a wildcard might function. Let's say last week you were talking to a friend and they told you that they just watched a movie and advised that you watch the movie as well. The following week you decided to watch the same movie, let's say on Netflix, but you forgot the title of that movie. But you do remember that the title contained the word dance. And she proceeded to just go to Google and search and just try to search and see if you can find that title. So you went to Google or whichever search engine you decide, and you typed, let's say, movie title with word dance. You entered, and now we have a list of different links to something that has to do with a movie title with the word dance. And I'll just click on the first link that I have here. So when I clicked on this, or you clicked on this, now you see all those list or all the suggestions of different movies. The first one, Save the Last Dance. We have Shall We Dance, Dirty Dancing, Last Dance, Save the Last Dance. Now I will just click on the back button. Now we all know Google as a search engine where we retrieve data or information. If we reflect back to the definition of a database, which is a collection of data, or better still, a container where data is stored, we can see that at its core, Google is a database where it really just contains lots of data and information, all stored within a Google database. Now, when you enter your request, just as we did there, or that I did there, just type in movie with a movie with word dance. At the back end, an application identifies the keyword in this request that I just entered and interprets it and then insert it into a structured query that the computer understands. So when I typed in movie title with dance, the application searches within the Google database for all movies that has a title which has the word dance, or in which the word dance is contained, and then it displays all of those titles as a result set, which is why you see all those different links. And if you can click, go to the next page, and it's going to be all that has to do with a movie and that has to do with dance in the title. So let's switch over to SQL to see how what we typed into Google may have been interpreted on the back end. Let's make our comment, and we'll call this SQL wildcards. Now we know that within our in our books table, if we wanted to, we've used the select and the where clause to pull out specific information. So let's say we wanted to pull out the book Purple Hibiscus. We know we can simply type select all from books and say where title equals Purple Hibiscus. And we can run this query and it gives us the results. So we have Chimamanda Adichie, Purple Hibiscus. We get all the the information we need. But in a situation in which we don't know the full title, or we don't have the full information, and we just have part of the information. So in our case now, within our books table, let's say we want to pull out a book that has the title Dance within the book title. How do we do that? And this is where the SQL wildcard comes into play, and we'll be using the like operator as well. The first thing I'll do is to write out the query, and then we'll go over the query together. All right, so we'll have select all from books, And then we have where title. And this is where we'll use the like operator. So like, we open our quote, we use this percentage sign, we type in dance, which is the word we're trying to search for. We have the percentage sign, and then we close our quote and have our semicolon. So this looks a bit strange and weird, but we'll go through it together. Now what we're saying is this: we want to, from our books table, we want to select all of the information from our books table. We're familiar with this. We're familiar with using the where clause as well. So we say where title, but instead of saying equals to in a situation where we actually know that information, we're saying that pull for me, give me a result or give me records within my table that has the title like dance. Now, what we have here, we have this code because it's a string character. The word dance is a string character, so we're putting that in quotes. But this percentage sign that we have before and after dance is what we call the wildcard. Now, the first percentage sign is saying this: I don't care what the title starts with. It can start with anything, and that's what this percentage sign is saying. It's saying, give me the title that has dance. It could start with anything, but as long as it has dance within that title, I'm fine. And it can also end with anything. So it could be save the last dance, I would like to dance with you, whatever it is. It can start with anything and it can end with anything, but in between, I need it to have the word dance. When we run this, it retrieves for us 3 records. And if we look at our title, so Steve Burrows, the title is A Dance of Cranes. So if we notice, the word dance did not start, it starts with A, the letter A, and it says A Dance of Cranes, right? 2019 thriller. Martha Brooks as Born Dance, so it ends with dance. And then we have Nora Roberts as Dance of the Gods, and it starts with dance. So this fulfills this condition in which, again, the percentage is saying it can start with anything, it contains dance, and it can end with anything. Now, it is also possible to say, using the same example, what if we know, for a fact that the title starts with the word dance? Like we know it starts with the word dance. Is it possible for us to retrieve that information? And the answer is yes. And this is how we do that. So it follows the same thing. We have select all from books. We have where title, and we still use our like operator. We open our quote, and this time what we're going to do is we say dance, and then we have our percentage sign, and then we close our quote, and we have our semicolon. Now let's go through this. So this is saying that retrieve all records within the books table that starts. I'm insisting that it has to start with dance, and that's why we don't have this percentage. By just starting with dance, it's saying the title must start with dance, but it can end with anything, and that's why we have the percentage after the dance. When we run this query, now it only shows us Dance of the Gods because Nora Roberts' book starts with the word dance. Now, what if we want to flip that and say, well, it can start with anything, but I know for a fact that the title ends with the word dance. It can start with anything, but it must end with dance. How do we do that? Same thing, we select stuff from books. And then we have where, title, like, and now what we'd have is we'd say it can start with anything. It contains the word dance, and it must end with the word dance. Okay, so we see this is just a reverse, so we're just flipping this. So right now we're saying let our result set, our record, let it start with anything. It could be any word, whatever it is, but it must end with the word dance. And when we run this, now we see that we get Martha Brooks, Born of Dance, returned to us. And let's do a final example. What if we want to find the records within our table in which the title contains the word the, so the word the. So we go select all from books, and we don't have to select all. We can select specific columns as well, but I'm just going with all. And we'll say where title alike. And this time we don't care whether it starts or ends. We just want it to contain the word the. Right? And when we run this query, now we get the shadow of the wind, starts with the, into the abyss. It has D in somewhere in between, in the middle. We have the empty nest, the cave, the suspect, the 10 times rule, the offense, sun, dance of the gods. So this is how we use the percentage wildcard, and I would just add the SQL wildcard. I'll just use a percentage there.